There was a time in my life when darkness surrounded me, and I felt as though I was drowning in despair. I had lost my job, my family was falling apart, and the weight of my past mistakes pressed heavily upon my soul. Each morning, I awoke with no sense of purpose, and each night, I fell asleep with tears in my eyes, feeling as though I had nothing left to live for. I was at my lowest, and the enemy whispered lies into my ear, telling me that I was alone, that I was beyond redemption. One fateful evening, as the storm raged outside my window, I found myself sitting on the edge of my bed, contemplating an end to my suffering. My heart ached, my spirit was broken, and I had no strength left to fight. In that moment of utter despair, I uttered a cry, a whisper of desperation. Jesus, if you are real, if you still love me, please save me. I did not expect an answer. I did not expect anything at all. But then, something miraculous happened. A warmth filled my chest, spreading through my body like a comforting embrace. It was as if a hand reached down into the darkness and pulled me into the light. A peace I had never known settled over me, silencing the storm within my heart. Tears flowed down my cheeks, but they were no longer tears of sorrow. They were tears of release, of healing. I could feel His presence, gentle, yet powerful, reassuring me that I was not alone, that I had never been alone. In that moment, I knew that Jesus had heard my cry, and He had answered. The days that followed were not without struggle, but something had changed within me. I began to seek Him, to read His Word, to pray, not just in desperation, but in gratitude. Each time I felt the weight of my past creeping in, I reminded myself of His promise, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. Doors began to open in my life. I found a job where I could rebuild myself. My relationships began to heal, slowly but surely, as love and forgiveness took the place of resentment and regret. Most importantly, I found a community of believers who walked beside me, reminding me daily of Christ's love and grace. As time went on, I realized that my testimony was not just about my rescue but also about my transformation. Jesus didn't just save me, He changed me. My heart, once filled with despair, now overflowed with hope. I began to reach out to others who were struggling, sharing the message of grace and redemption. I learned that my pain had a purpose, and my story was not meant to be hidden but to be a light for others who walked the same dark path I once did. I remember one particular day when I met a young man who was battling the same hopelessness I once knew. His eyes were filled with the same emptiness I had seen in my own reflection. I shared my story with him, and as I spoke, I could see a flicker of hope ignite in his heart. That moment reminded me why Jesus saved me, not just for my sake, but so that I could be a vessel of His love for others. Looking back now, I realize that I was never forsaken. Even in my lowest moments, Jesus was there, waiting for me to call upon Him. He took my brokenness and turned it into a testimony. He lifted me from the pit and placed my feet upon solid ground. My life is not perfect, but it is redeemed, and that is more than I could have ever hoped for. So, if you find yourself in the depths of despair, if you believe you are beyond saving, I urge you to cry out to Him. For He is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Jesus saved my life when I was at my lowest, and He can do the same for you. He is the good shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one lost sheep. He is the light that shatters the darkness, the hope that never fades. If you call upon His name, He will answer, just as He did for me. Today, I live not just for myself but for His glory. Every breath I take is a testimony of His grace. Every step I walk is a reminder of His faithfulness. Jesus saved my life, and I will spend the rest of my days sharing His love with the world. Because He lives, I have hope. Because He loves, I am redeemed. And because He saves, I am never alone. If this testimony has touched your heart, I encourage you to like and share it with others who may need to hear this message. Let's spread the love of Jesus together.